On this episode of the Pep Talk podcast, I'm going to give you two questions to ask that can immediately upgrade your level of impact and influence and your income. It doesn't matter what stage of life you're in, what area of business or service or marketing you're in. These two powerful questions, if you answer them before 2023 is up, will set your 2024 up to start off rocking. But first, I have a question for you. Have you had your dose of pep today? No? Don't worry, I've got you. Now let's go. Yo, welcome to episode 17 of the Pep Talk podcast. I'm your host, Coach Jay. And if this is your first time listening to the podcast, welcome. You are hereby inaugurated into the Pep Squad. And you may be asking, what is the Pep Talk podcast anyway? Well, the mission of this podcast is to cheer you on and to coach you up. It is my belief that everybody needs a coach and everybody needs a cheerleader. We need that cheerleader for encouragement, to pump us up, to get us hyped, but we need that coach to give us the steps to elevating into our proper position and the things that we're supposed to be doing in life, helping us find clarity, helping us refine and redefine sometimes our purpose and our action steps for getting there, and even sometimes just to say, you're on the path. Just keep going. And so that's what we do. Every Monday, we come here with pep for you. And so if you've been rocking with us, I'm glad to have you back. If you're new here, welcome to the Pep Squad. So glad that you're here. And you are deputized to be a dealer of hope and a dealer of pep into your community, into your job, into your family, wherever you're living, wherever you're vibing, whatever you're doing. This pep is for you. Remember, I love to say this, that a rising tide lifts all ships. And as members of the Pep Squad, we are concerned that as we elevate, we're not elevating for the purpose of ourselves. We are elevating for the advancement of those around us. We want to impact our communities. We want to impact our societies. We want to be that linchpin. We want to be that jumping off point for good things happening around us, not just in us. Because it's not just about us. We're trying to elevate everybody that we can in this life. We are rapidly, and I mean rapidly, winding down 2023. And this year it's been incredible. Like, for as if with everybody, there are ups and there are downs, there are the highs, there are the lows. But when I think back over the course of this year, and I'm not quite doing the whole reflection episode yet, but as I think about this year, a lot of it for me has been defined by the two questions that I want to talk about over the course of this episode. Um, so back in 2020, I published my first book. It was called Slaying the Lion, Hunt What Is Hunting You. And this book is focused on helping the readers to understand that we have been equipped with the courage and with the necessary weaponry and resources that we need to overcome the obstacles and the challenges in our lives. And if you want to get a copy of it, it's available on Amazon. I'll link it in the show notes for you. But as I was getting into the latter chapters of the book, I needed some way to access the consciousness of the readers. And so after praying, these two questions came to me. And these are the two questions that I want to pose to you. And here's why. It is my belief that when I coach people, they already have the answers that they're looking for. But sometimes we need a sounding board, or we need someone to bounce ideas off of, so that we can, as we're listening to ourselves talk about things, we begin to realize that that soft voice on the inside of us is actually right. It's actually leading us in the right direction. We just have to have the trust in it. And so as I was thinking about these two questions and how I wanted to lead the reader in leveling up in their belief in themselves and leveling up their belief in what they had within them to conquer their lions, to slay their lions, and to quit running from the very things that they should be running toward, these two questions just hit me. And I went with them. And they are two questions that since that point, I have consistently posed to myself when I find myself in a situation where I'm up against something. And, maybe you are at this point in 2023 and you are at a stuck moment. Maybe you're not stuck with momentum, but you're stuck in your belief, or there's an obstacle or a challenge that you keep coming up against, and you keep, you know, having to run back into retreat, or you keep bumping your head against the same wall, or you keep encountering the same ceiling, or you keep coming against the same locked door. I believe that these two questions that I'm going to give you today are extremely powerful. I believe that they will help unlock doors. For some of you, they will give you the power and the courage to build a new door. They will give you the weaponry to slay the lion that's in front of you, to finally overcome that challenge, to scale that wall. Either way, as I continue to challenge you to close 2023 strong, these two questions are going to help you level up your impact, your influence, your income, but also they're going to help you elevate and realize what you already have within you that is going to help you accomplish everything that you need to accomplish. Because listen, it's already there. It is already inside of you. Everything that you need, no matter what it is you want to do, it is already there inside of you. Now, yes, sometimes we do need a coach. I believe everybody needs a coach, and everybody needs a therapist, and everybody needs cheerleaders. But I believe that a good jumping off point is for you to be able to answer these two questions, because I believe in just how powerful they are. And I believe in the results that they can manifest in your life as you answer them and as you begin to live your life in a way that lines up with your answers to these questions. So, what are the two questions that are so powerful that I'm talking about? So here are the two questions. Number one, what's in your heart? And number two, what's in your hands? Number one, again, it's what's in your heart. And number two is what's in your hand. And I'm going to break these questions down, and I'm going to try to break them down as it results to my discovery of them in my own life, and just kind of how they've played out in my journey, so that by hopefully me talking about my own journey, it helps you to more clearly see how they fit in your life, and how the answer could be so powerful and impactful in your life, which will lead to you being impactful and influential in whatever vein of business or life or career, whatever you're doing. All of these will fit. So, first question, what's in your heart? Now, as I said at the beginning of this podcast, a rising tide lifts all ships. So I believe, I totally believe that nothing that we do can be for selfish means if we want it to last. I that's just me. Uh, I believe, my belief is I don't want to upgrade my income just so that I can be flossing. Yeah, I want a truck. I want a Tundra, just a fully loaded Tundra. I do. I can admit that. But the thing that really excites me about upgrading my income is all of the charities and the missions that I will be able to fund. It's for the churches that I will be able to help, the church planners that I will be able to help fund their churches. It's for the local charities who are doing things for widows and for orphans and for the homeless and for the hungry that can help them. It's for the people who need the Alcoholics Anonymous programs, the Narcotics Anonymous programs, the Porn Addicts Anonymous programs. All of these programs I want to be able to help. For people who need to be able to see doctors and chiropractors, I want to be able, I want my family to be able to generate enough wealth that we're able to do those things. And so when I ask the question, what's in your heart? What I'm asking you to do, and when that first question came to me, I was asking myself, Jay, You're writing this book. What's in your heart? Like, what are you expecting? Are you expecting it to be a bestseller? Are you expecting your name to be put in light? What are you expecting? And as I thought about my story that I put in the pages of that book, and I talked about it a little bit uh, in an upcoming episode of the Grit and Gratitude podcast, in the Grind and Gratitude podcast with Coach Danny Stone that'll come out, I believe, in January. But as I was writing my story down in that book, the recurring thing that I had in my heart is that I hope that my story encourages somebody else to stop running. Because I was running from fear, I was running from an addiction to porn. I was running from a fear of failure. I was running from a fear of acknowledging who I was as a person. I was afraid of my power. I was afraid of my potential. I was afraid that my purpose would never come. And so in life, in those times where I was faced with obstacles and challenges that I should have been able to scale, I would turn to run. And so in my heart, I was so angry about the moments that I had run away. In my heart, I was so angry about the times that I had allowed my fear to overcome my faith. I became angry for all of the times that the people who would read my book, all the times that they had run from their lions. I was angry about all the times that they had allowed themselves to be their courage to be taken, their strength to be sapped, their life to be stalled and become stagnant, their mindsets to become toxic and ruined because they were running away from challenges that they really are equipped to defeat. Because I knew that I was equipped to defeat them, but I didn't believe in my ability, and so I was angry. I was angry, and I wanted the people who read the book to be able to know that if Jay did it, if Justin did it, if Coach Jay can do it, then I can do it. What's in your heart, man? What was in my heart was not getting rich. It was not the book being a bestseller. There are a million and one things that I could have done differently with that book. I could have shopped it around for a publisher. I could have, done multiple rewrites. The book is not perfect. But I knew that if I did not put the book out, I wouldn't have had the courage in the moment to ever come back to it. And if I didn't have the courage to come back to it, then the person who needed that book, the person who needed to read my story, not that it's even the most impactful story in the history of stories, but your story can help somebody. And I believe that my story helped multiple people. Did I get rich off of it? No. I published the book the day that the World Health Organization named COVID a pandemic and they canceled the world. So I never did a book signing or a book reading or anything of that nature. I just put the book out and I posted about it on socials and I hoped that people would purchase it because I believed that what was in my heart, the intention of the book, was important enough to one person out there. And so what was in my heart was a deep need. What was in my heart was a deep desire for people to be free from fear, for people to be free from their addictions, for people to be free from the things that plague them every day, that keep them from understanding and knowing how great they are, and just how powerful they are, and just how much the world needs them in this world. What's in your heart? As you're thinking about writing that book, what's in your heart? What do you want to accomplish in the lives of the people who are going to read your book? What's in your heart? As you're looking at starting that business, as you're looking at writing down that business plan and trying to secure funding, what's in your heart? Is it just to make money? No, and listen, I need you to hear me. I am not demonizing money. Money is not a bad thing. Money is a great thing because it allows us to expand our reach. But when money is the only reason that's in your heart, That's not the best reason. Because here's what I believe. I believe that when the reasons in your heart are truly noble, the money will find you. I just believe that when our intentions are for others, I believe that when our intentions are to help elevate the lives of our fellow man, that becomes like a magnet for money. And it begins to find us, it begins to find us. And no, in many cases, it's not going to be instant and immediate. In some cases, it is. And if it's been instant and immediate for you, then I applaud you because you're doing the thing. But here's what I'm telling you. When you answer the question, when I ask you the question, what's in your heart about what you're trying to do? What's in your heart as you're becoming a teacher, right? What's in your heart when you were starting that business? What's in your heart when you're starting that podcast? When I started this podcast, what was in my heart is that I knew that I had something in me. I had words that I needed to give to somebody. I had love and support and belief that I needed to give to somebody. And as I was in a spot where I really wasn't preaching, it was burning me up that I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do on the scale that I wanted to do it. The clips on social media, they're great, but I felt like I could do more. And so this podcast comes as a result of me asking Jay, what's in your heart? So what's in your heart? What's in your heart? What is your reason for doing what it is you're choosing to do? What's in your heart for the people who are going to purchase your product or buy your book or book your coaching services? What's in your heart for those people? Is it truly to be a blessing to someone? Is it truly to help someone achieve their best self? Is it truly to help them see who they are, some people for the very first time? Is it to help their life become easier, more manageable? Is it to help them begin to manage stress better? What's your why? And how is that purpose in your heart? How is it coming across in your marketing? How is it coming across in your messaging? When they see you on their feed, are they seeing your heart? Are you pouring your heart out to them? When they hear you on their radio screen or on their phone or whatever, are they hearing your heart for them? Are they hearing your intention for them? When you dance, are you wanting them to feel the emotion of your movements? What's in your heart? I'm asking you, what's in your heart? That is a huge question. And I don't think that it's one that we spend enough time answering. We don't spend enough time with ourselves meditating upon that. We don't spend enough time actively thinking about this thing of what's in our heart. Because I'm going to say it again, what's in your heart will impact your influence and your income. But more importantly, what's in your heart is going to impact your effectiveness, your consistency, and your dedication. Because it's what's in your heart, it being true and noble and service of others, that's going to keep you working that thing when nobody's paying attention to you. If what's in your heart is good, it's going to keep you, doing that podcast when only 5 people are listening. And I know because I'm going to be honest. We don't get mega millions of listeners or hundreds of listeners. But what's in my heart keeps me coming back because I know that the people who are listening are the people who need what we're bringing. And I'm not putting myself on a pedestal, y'all. If I could tell you how many times I've thought about quitting because I want more listeners, I want more downloads, but more than anything else, y'all, I want this podcast to be a help and a service. And I want this to be a place where people can come on a Monday for 30, 40 minutes and really hear somebody speaking into their lives who really, really wants to see them know that they're greater and live like they're greater and believe like they're greater. I want people to see this YouTube and to see my heart on the screen, for you to see that I'm not just calling words. I'm not just reading words. I sit down, I sit down, I say a prayer, and I say, God, please allow me to speak what's on your heart that you've laid on my heart that somebody needs. And then I hit record. And what comes out in these episodes is literally what's burning on my heart for you. So I'm challenging you. Whether you're a student, whether you're a professional, whether you're an entrepreneur, no matter what area of life you're in, with what you're doing, what's in your heart? Second question, what's in your hands? Now, this question is powerful because it is the most overlooked thing in the life of a person. No matter what you want to accomplish, I guarantee you are overlooking what's in your hand. I'm holding my hands up on the YouTube so that y'all can see what's in your hand. Moses had a rod. Moses used that rod. He struck it against the ground. The Red Sea parted. In front of Pharaoh, he threw the rod on the ground and turned into a snake. But it was just an ordinary rod, a shepherd's rod, that did these extraordinary things. David had a slingshot and some smooth stones, but he took down a giant with it. And y'all know, I tell you that this is not a Bible podcast, it's a life podcast. But I'm bringing these up from the Bible because I want to show you something. You don't have to have something extraordinary to the sight of other people. Goliath laughed at David coming at him with a slingshot. But what you have in your hand, it doesn't have to look extraordinary or special to anybody else, but it has to look special to you. You have to be able to look at your hands. You have to be able to look at what's in your hand. First off, what am I saying? What's in your hands? What I'm saying is, what are those gifts and abilities that you have innately? What are those skills that you've gathered over your life that you're really good at? Are you a woodworker? Okay. Are you a carpenter? Do you play an instrument? Do you write? Do you rap? Do you sing? Do you dance? Are you a natural instructor? Are you able to take complex topics and narrow them down to a common way for anybody to understand them? What's in your hand? What's that talent? What's that ability? What is that gift? What is that skill that you have that everybody else looks at and says, oh, that's nothing? I challenge you in 2023 to take note and to take stock of what you have within you. I challenge you to take stock of what you can do well. Why am I asking you to do this? Because the things that are natural to you, the things that you have the natural affinity and giftedness for, could be what impacts your influence and your income. Maybe you don't need to go off and grab this entirely new skill. Maybe you don't need to go off and learn this entirely new gift or try to get another talent. Maybe you just need to refine what you already have. And maybe you just need to use it. So many of us are sitting on our hands. So many of us are sitting on our communication ability. So many of us are sitting on our writing ability. So many of us are not trying to pursue the lanes that are natural to us because we think that they're too common, but you don't understand. You don't understand that it's not the pathway. It's not the pathway that turns something into an uncommon pathway. It's you bringing your uncommon ability and skills onto a pathway that suddenly creates something extraordinary. It's you saying, I'm going to bring this old beaten up shepherd's rod And I'm going to see what I can do with it. I'm going to make it. It was Ray Charles. I'm going to make it do what it do. Some of y'all, some of us need to make it do what it do. And I know that's bad English, it's bad grammar. I'm an English teacher. Y'all forgive me. But we need to be about the business of making it do what it do. What's in your hand? And how can you take what's in your hands, what you already have, what you don't have to go off and purchase, what you don't have to bum up for somebody else, what you don't have to ask anybody to borrow, what's in your hand that you already have that can affect and change lives, communities, your income, your influence, your life, the next generation's life for the better. I am begging you, so much. I'm begging you to quit overlooking what's in your hands. I'm begging you to quit laughing off your gifts, quit laughing off your abilities. I'm begging you to quit underestimating what's inside of you. I'm begging you to quit overlooking just how great you are, how dope you are, how much, you are the special. I am begging you to finally, some of you for the first time, to take seriously that what's in you is not an accident, it is on purpose and it's for a purpose. And I need you to look at it, I need you to see it, and I need you to put some action behind it. Because I promise you, the lane that you're supposed to walk in life, your purpose in life is going to be related to what you already have within you, what's already working on the inside of you, what's already bubbling on the inside of you, what you can't escape. And sometimes people aren't going to see it, but you have to see it in yourself. And sometimes people aren't going to see it, but you have to see it in yourself. And you have to believe it's there so that even when nobody's in the audience clapping, even when you get the multiple rejections, even when people don't see it, because everybody's not going to see it. That's just the truth. You're not for everybody. Your gifts, your talent, your ability is not for everybody. You are for some people, though. And unless you get about the business of seeing what's in your hands, the people who need to see what's in your hands to receive their victory, to receive their deliverance, to receive the key to unlocking their own door so that they can be about their business, they'll never get it. Are you comfortable leaving people behind because you keep overlooking just how great you are? And I need you to understand, y'all, for so many of us, the pathway in front of us is not even a pathway. What's in our hands will allow us to act like a machete and clear a pathway where others have had no pathway before. You may have to be the trailblazer. But that's why these two questions, what's in your heart and what's in your hands, that's why they're so important. Because you understand that you're able to take what's in your hands that may seem ordinary to everybody else, but you know it's something special. That's why you're able to take that and begin cutting away at the wildness, cutting away at the brush. You're able to take what you have in your hands, what's in your heart, and what you have, your resources within you. You're able to take that and clear a pathway so that people who didn't even know they needed you suddenly discover your book. They suddenly discover your business. They suddenly discover your coaching services. They suddenly discover your dance class or your vocal lessons. Y'all, I'm talking to somebody out there. It is December of 2023, and you need to know, you need to understand, you need to be able to grasp the answer to these two questions. What's in your head, what's in your heart, and what's in your hands? If you can sit down and write down the answer to these questions, you are halfway there. If you can recognize why you're doing what you're doing, And what you have at your disposal to get started now, you're over halfway there. And it may sound like I'm yelling at you and like I'm screaming at you. Y'all, I promise I'm not. Y'all, I promise I'm not. I'm filled with so much passion that you're greater. But I'm also filled with pain because so many of you don't see it. Because if you truly saw it, you wouldn't be sitting on it. You wouldn't be allowing it to stay dormant. You wouldn't be waiting until 2024 to say, I'm finally going to start. You wouldn't be waiting, because if you truly believed how great you are, you would start right now. And you should start right now. Because a guy with a podcast called the Pep Talk Podcast, he believes in you. And he's pleading with you to believe in yourself. Because you are the special. You are the one, Neo. And the world needs what you have within you. The world needs what's in your hands. The world needs what's in your heart. And when you marry the two of them, you have something that will surely increase your impact, your influence, and your income, while lifting the fortunes of everybody around you. It's in you. It's in there. I know that it is. I know it is. It's there. And I want you to see it. It is integral that you see it. So as we wrap up this episode 17 of the Pep Talk Podcast, I want you to know that I see it. I'm speaking to it. I'm trying to draw it out of you. Don't stuff it back in. No more shrinking. No more decreasing. It's time to elevate. It's time to grow. It's time to become greater. We going all the way up. We going all the way up, because that's what we do in the Pep Squad. We elevate and we bring people with us. Y'all, this has been amazing. This has been great. Let me know what you think about this episode. I want to know specifically what's in your heart and what's in your hands. What's your why and what are you good at? Drop that on the socials at _JB Speaks. Hit me up on the email at the peppodcast@gmail.com. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're thinking. And let me know if I can help you process. Okay? I'm a life coach in DFW. I specialize in working with men, but I will never turn a person away who needs an answer to a question. So let me know how I can help, because I'm your cheerleader. But this has also been your weekly coaching session, the Pep Talk Podcast. And y'all know how we like to end things. Keep it love, keep it light, and keep it peppy. It's the Pep Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Coach J, life coach in DFW. I love you. I want to see you next week. I want to see you on the socials. But mostly, I want to see you shining and being your great and elevated self, because that's what we do. Love y'all. I'll see you next week. Y'all